which is ironic to say just on offhand, considering that this was not the poor stealing from the rich, but hackers stealing from the quote unquote poor, aka Robinhood investors, most likely to be younger and have less capital, like both of us. Except I don't have Robinhood anymore. So, Justin, you are the Robinhood user. Can you give us a little rundown quickly of what happened, and then we'll dive into what we think about that going forward, and what this means for Robinhood as a whole.
Sure. Yeah, there were a significant amount of hacks. I think around 2,000 is what they estimated.
Yes, 2000.
And they blamed it on password security of all these accounts getting hacked. And so, as me, a Robinhood investor, shortly after this news broke, Robinhood happened to email every single one of its users and say, "Hey, would you like to participate in dual authentication of logging in?" I haven't even like really looked into what that entails. I just use
Here,
Face ID.
I can tell you real quick what that entails because I do it 1,800 times a day at work. It means you get the text code, and you always have to
Oh,
put it in. And
every single time you log in?
I don't know about every single time, but it claims it's always good for 15 days. Then it's good for maybe about 1.5 days before it makes you do it again.
Okay.
So it's one
Okay.
of those. So keep
I,
keep it rolling though.
I use the Face ID and it's fine for me. It's enough security where it's annoying to have to do every time, but like I kind of like that it's annoying like that because it is my finances. It's a significant amount of what I own. Um, yeah, so I mean, obviously it's reactive to them getting hacked, and 2,000, I guess, isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but like that's enough to cause a really big concern.
Especially when that's like that could be that and probably was life savings of these people.
Oh, for sure. You get one person that gets, hacked. It's that person is just screwed for who knows how long, unless Robinhood makes it right. And I am curious to see how they are able to react to these 2,000 people if they do get cleaned out or whatever happened to them. Do you know
I
what
don't
their
know.
settlement is, or they're just in the middle of a settlement to try to figure out what to do?
So I don't know on that, and they may not make that public because they are, these are private dealings. They're not going to announce like obviously what they had, what they end up doing. Um, the biggest reason though of why so many of these accounts all these 2,000 accounts got cleaned out is Robinhood doesn't have a contact phone line, and people, including myself and you, all didn't realize this until it was too late for these 2,000 people. We just have
Right.
to like I don't have any money in Robinhood anymore, but I still have the app. So I could have been susceptible to this. You were susceptible to this, and there would have been no way for us to get in contact with anybody at Robinhood to say, "Hey, I'm not placing these trades. Somebody has sold all my positions and is now transferring the money from those positions out, and now I've had my money stolen, all because you don't have a 1-800 number."
Right. They don't. Yeah, their immediate contact is lacking for sure. But I do know when you email them, they are really good about getting back within 3 days, which is something.
Something, but not
And then
great for an emergency.
you're right. And then unless you have gold, I think all of the transfers to your bank account take 3 to 5 business days. So there is a delay on all this stuff for the smaller users. But for the big boys, I mean, if those were included in there, I mean, those can be pretty immediate because they have that level of trust. They can go from bank account to account really quickly. And when I say big boys, I mean it's really not. It's only 25,000 is the threshold to get into their gold status to get to that quick transfer and day trading stuff. So I mean this can really affect a lot of people in a big way, like you said. Um,
So
so
what do you think this means for Robinhood going forward before I dive in on it?
what do I think? I mean, I think it really well for users at least. I think it really challenges the trust. Honestly, like for people like me that have been thinking about making the switch over to a more well, I say more legitimized, but longer backed account that now does not charge, fees per trade, it really is pushing me a little bit harder to make that switch faster, for the end of the year for sure. I would think a lot of other people will follow suit too, since Robinhood is still fairly new, and as investors get more and more, well versed, they're going to want to switch over to, Charles Schwab or Fidelity or whatever it may be. I'm going to be one of those people.
Yeah. So, true. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Robinhood is the Facebook of individual brokerage accounts.
Facebook,
I'll
I
say,
don't
and I'll
know.
tell you my reasoning of why, but I want to see if you agree or disagree first.
I would say I would disagree just because Facebook's been around for a long time and they kind of have an established hold over, how their stuff works. Now, for ability to hack in and that everyone kind of uses it and isn't maybe as socially aware as people on like Twitter and Instagram, then I would agree with you if that's where you're going with this.
So here's where I'm going with this. E-Trade was having the same moment that Robinhood is currently have back in the 98, 99, 2000 tech bubble. A lot of individual accounts were opened. A lot of people started throwing money in the market, a lot of quote unquote dumb money, and individual new retail investors didn't know what they were doing. That is the MySpace. It's the first thing there. It's not the most popular in the end. And then along comes Facebook, which does similarly the same thing, but takes off on a more even massive scale. And that's what we're seeing happen with Robinhood in terms of net new accounts and that have been opened, money that's flowing in, and also the coolness and pop culture relevance. To me, it seems a lot like early Facebook, and that's why I make that connection to it. As well as they also they want to democratize finance. I agree with that thesis 100%. The problem is they also took the Facebook thesis of move fast and break things,
Right.
and then people get hurt when that happens, when not everything is thought through. We saw the poor 20-year-old kid that committed suicide because he thought he had lost 700 grand earlier this year, when that was not even the case, because Robinhood does not offer any sort of uh, educational resources or barriers other than, like you mentioned, the 25 grand to stop people from day trading. But what's that based on? Just that you can absorb the losses if you are making those types of risky and speculative bets, because that's what they most likely are doing in terms if you are day trading. uh, so there, the lack of educational resources, the lack of safeguards, this is not it's serious stuff. Like you said, it's people's life savings, and it's causing people to move to a more, as you said, legitimate slash serious brokerage account, which is what I did. When was that? A couple 6 months ago, roughly that.
Yeah.
I moved specifically for the reason of I loved Robinhood's UI. I love the user experience. I love the instant transfer of cash and not having to wait anything from bank account to brokerage account because I had Robinhood Gold. But there were just the lack of functionalities, the lack of resources, and educational tools that caused me to move in the end. So that's my thesis on that. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is serious stuff. I think Robinhood either made the assumption or just ignored, that people just may not have the education required to kind of run this stuff, and it's extremely accessible. It's a push of a button. Like you said, the user interface for people that know what they're doing is great because it's so fast and easy and simple to use, all their tools. But at the same time, when you don't know what you're doing, those 1-2 clicks of a button to make a trade can be really scary, especially in times like this where the market is so volatile and people can just lose out their ass. I mean, and then pile on top that people got hacked, and can
Yeah,
be
they
really
got hacked,
dangerous.
and then Robinhood blamed them because their passwords might have been too easy to guess. It's like, how
Yeah.
are your safeguards not better? You got to do better. If you've now become the number one most popular app, which to be sticky with this new wave of clientele, so they don't leave you for an E-Trade, Charles Schwab, a TD Ameritrade, um, you have to be able to A, safeguard their money, B, safeguard their data and passwords.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they were quick to market. They were very successful in how they operated. But that came with these issues. I think maybe they saw it coming, maybe they didn't, and couldn't act fast enough. Because now, if you have the app, they have before you make like any kind of options trade, they show you what each one really means and kind of have some graphics that help explain it and educate. And I think now when you sign up for an account, there's a lot of language on like not legal language anymore. I mean, there's still legal language that's ridiculous, but it stops making you scroll through each of the pages saying know what you're doing, know what kind of each kind of trade is. It's just basically reiterating this is real money. Know what you're trading in. It's very easy to trade. That is great and the problem at the same time. So they're aware now, but like I said, it's reactive. Um, and I think them getting exposed is probably good in the long run, but right now they're going to be taking a huge hit. And I think we can probably rule out Ackman buying Robinhood with his SPAC.
He has shorted Herbalife before. Don't ever rule anything out with him.
Maybe he can revitalize it and get some more trust in the company if he does.
Yeah, hopefully
I'll
they do take this as an opportunity to expand their support line, and then also look at other ways that they can proactively, not reactively, safeguard their customers and also do a better job of educating them while continuing to grow and allowing more people of all different race, genders, ethnicities, identities to be able to access the stock market, which is one of the best wealth generating vehicles we have in this life. So
I mean, yeah, I'll give them some credit. They started a wave, me included. I mean, it made it so easy. I probably done it anyway, but I think it made it that much easier and that much quicker to get started. And then they have done a really good job of their reactions to this stuff. I think they have really like implemented some really good tools into the system. But like you said, it's reactive. They need to be more proactive and kind of get ahead of this stuff before it comes up, and so they can kind of back themselves up and make them more legitimate. But I think they're on their way. I really do think Robinhood has a good team. I mean, they had a great idea. Now they just need to implement it the right way.
yep, keep the ease of and good user interface, user experience, but bolster the back end, and yeah, and just help customers try to be smarter with their investments and their data and protect those investments at the same time.
Yeah, it probably will offer some educational, videos and systems that maybe weren't available before, make it more available for people or more accessible to people available.
Yep. And if they still go and buy a ton of Hertz stock while it's bankrupt, that's their fault.
Exactly. Yeah. Which
Don't buy
that's FinTalk people influencing their decisions. I think
yeah.
at that point, that's not Robinhood's fault. That's them listening to people who don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Not saying we do, but we're not recommending any stocks here. So
never ever. But yeah, we will see what happens with the old green feather going forward.
Just shows